So a veteran game artist came out and said what many of us have been saying since at least 2014, if not more recently in the past few years, about the defeminization of females in the video game industry. And he actually said it. He actually said the quiet part out loud. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and we got Del Walker here. Cartel Del, principal game artist, previously for Naughty Dog, Rocksteady Games, Respawn. He worked on the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game that was absolutely trounced and more or less the reason for Gamergate 2 starting. And, I know a lot of individuals have been talking about this. I know there's been a lot of coverage, specifically yesterday. I'm a little behind, but the reason I'm behind is I want to see what a lot of folks had to say. I wanted to just sort of take it in and see how this was being responded to, because I got a bit of a different take on the matter. A lot of individuals want to use this as the big gotcha moment, the I told you so, and while that's probably very cathartic, I don't think that actually gets to the root of the problem, or is going to be well received by individuals like this, who actually are saying what we have been saying for the longest time, granted to a much lesser degree, but being said nonetheless. So I think we should probably take a bit of a different angle with this and appeal to Mr. Cartel Dell's sensibilities here, because yeah, he's 100% in the right, and he doesn't need individuals like us, throwing a lot of shade. Oh, look at us. We've been saying it for years. Yes, we have. But we've moved the needle that little bit with his admission. So what did he even say? Well, first of all, there's been a handful of times I've pitched black women characters that look like this. Then after 10 iterations, the concept or model comes back without a speck of the original beauty I pitched. Now look at this gal. This gal's gorgeous. This is a good-looking woman right here. Very, very pretty. What do game studios do with pretty women? They beat them with that ugly stick is what they do with pretty women. I mean, and if you want proof, well, lo and behold, here you go. One of these things is not like the other. It's quite sad, really. We're not saying that every woman needs to be Eve from Stellar Blade. This is a beautiful woman right here. Completely normal, proportional, doesn't look like a hag. She's just a genuinely pretty gal. He says, I'm not talking about mild changes. I'm talking about pose, aura, style, softness, age, flair. I hate giving these Gamergate men fuel, but it's very difficult to pitch beautiful or vain black women in games without them coming back like grocery store aunties. There's room for both. Now, there's a couple parts of this tweet specifically I want to address, and things that people have been taking some exception to. Frankly, I don't mind. I don't care. The one that I saw a lot of people throw shade at was when he said, I hate giving Gamergate men fuel. I get it. You individuals who are on this side of the aisle, who watch my videos, who watch Hypnotic's videos, who watch Mugen Lord's videos, you feel attacked. You're like, oh, he's still using disparaging, derogatory terms. Yes, he is. That's fine. Change don't happen all at once. At the end of the day, if he's looking at this as giving Gamergate men fuel, well, no, he's not. We already had the fuel. We've been talking about this in some instances since 2014, and definitely very recently, especially with Gamergate 2, ever since the previous February, and in a lot of instances prior to that, if you've been invested in this culture war. He's not giving us any fuel. For him to have given us fuel, he needed to have given us more information we didn't have before. This isn't new to us. If anything, he's just saying the quiet part out loud, like I said earlier, in front of all the other individuals that are usually in his corner or in the corner that he's in when it comes to, the game development cycle in the West, when it comes to the individuals in the positions of power in the West, when it comes to the games journalists, the Kotakus, the Alyssa Mercantes, the Nick Calandras, the Western studios like Blizzard. He's not giving us fuel because we've got eyes. We see it. We've been talking about it. If anything, he's putting himself at risk for losing his job with those companies to acknowledge what we've already known and what we've already seen. But he says it's very difficult to pitch beautiful or vain black women in games without them coming back like grocery store aunties. And a lot of other folks are also talking about, hey, why do you need to focus on black women? Dude, I don't give a shit. The fact of the matter is it's happening. He's admitting it's happening. Yes, we know what's happening to white women. We know what's happening to Asian women. We know what's happening to women across the board in Western games. Oddly enough, not happening to men. Men coming out still looking pretty representative of their, live action, their real model. But I don't care that he's only talking about black women or pinpointing black women. It is a step in the right direction. You're not going to ever change anybody all at once. It doesn't work like this. I don't need this dude. I don't need, Cartel Dell here to come out and all of a sudden be like, you know what? I'm done with this. Anti-woke is the way to go. Fuck Bethesda and everything they've done to the games industry to make just gaming an absolute cesspool. I'm voting Donald Trump. I don't need homie to do any of that. I don't even need him to quit working at modern day major AAA studios. He's acknowledging a problem. He's doing it on a public platform. Now, we can roast the dude, which is what a lot of folks have been doing, which will likely, send him back to, oh man, these individuals are just as awful as we thought they were. Or we can say, thank you. I appreciate it. You brought this to light. You brought what we've been saying in a manner that has not been taken seriously by a large swath of the populace. You have brought to light. You have given us validation, and you've done it in a very, at least in my opinion, tactful way. I can appreciate that. I don't think much more needs to be done or said about that. So, yeah. Little steps, baby steps. If we can continue getting moments like this, but and add that to voting with your wallet, add that to the curation pages like Sweet Baby Ink Detected or DEI Detected, this is how you will effectively get change in the gaming space. And not just in the gaming space, but if we continue to see moves like this in nerd culture in general, we will see it in nerd culture in general. We'll see it in the movies, we'll see it in the books, we'll see it in the comics, we'll see it in video games, we'll see it in the tabletop RPG scene or in the trading card game community. As long as there are folks out there who are acknowledging this, stepping up, talking about it, and then when the companies get so egregious, so greedy, so ideologically infested that it starts to harm the product of their own artists and their own creatives to the point where they snap because they have put their heart and their soul and their emotions into the art that they want to create and show the rest of the world, they will eventually come around and be like, God damn, I may hate that Gamergate side, but I can't sit by any longer and acknowledge that Big Daddy Papa Corporation is screwing me in the art that I want to make. Because that is exactly what's happening to this dude. If you want to call him, oh, he's black dude working on video games, I bet he was a DEI hire. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, dude clearly wants to make whatever he wants to make when it comes to his artistic vision in gaming, and he's not being given the opportunity to do that. He says, eventually I will make my own game studio and never complain again. But for now, I have Wi-Fi on this flight and will vent relentlessly. Bro, vent away. Vent away. It's needed. It's necessary. I say you earned it. I mean, let's be real. If he wants to make his own game studio and never complain again, that's a big ask. But that is also what we have been telling people to do. What we've been saying. Hey, get away from AAA. Get away from these money-grubbing, nostalgic cash grab baiting corporations that have no bone for originality, that don't have any soul, that only care about assembly line products, that want to put, ideology infested into every single little thing, regardless of whether it needs it or not. Spoiler alert, none of it needs it. Make your own thing. Now, that doesn't mean we'll like it. That doesn't mean we'll support it. You don't automatically get our support. You haven't automatically earned it just because you've done it. But it is a step in the right direction of building trust, because if you do that, it means you only have yourself to appeal to. You're not appealing to some, larger amount of shareholders or whatever the case may be. But then we got my boy Mugen Lord coming in here, who has 41,000 views, almost 300 likes. He recorded this months ago. I mean, this is one of Mugen Lord's all-time classic clips. So I'm going to play this for you guys because he says, I and many others have been saying this for a long time already, but we were called conspiracy theorists.
Maybe you can make an excuse and say it's just flat out incompetence, or maybe...
I don't think it is incompetence now. I was wondering if it was in the past, because let's be real, there are a lot of diversity hires. There are a lot of people who are being chosen for these jobs who are unqualified, but they get, the companies get to tick those diversity boxes and say, look how great we are on our ESG scores. And maybe it was incompetence that was leading to the complete and utter downgrade of video game, graphical fidelity as a whole, not just the character design, the art design. But now, I don't think that's the case after hearing what Mr. Del Walker has to say. No, it's not incompetence. It is top-down mandate
that the technology isn't there. But then you have to ask yourself, what about Japanese studios or Eastern developer studios and how they depict their women in video games. Because perfect example, Hideo Kojima in his studio, they mostly use motion capture technology to take real life people and put them into their fantasy worlds. And you look at the character named Quiet in the Metal Gear series, she looks exactly like her real life counterpart. You also look at the female characters in Death Stranding, they look just as feminine and attractive that you would see in their real life counterpart. Look at Devil May Cry, and also the male characters look just as handsome and as attractive as their real life counterparts. So why is it when it comes to Western studios, they have this weird asphyxiation of just taking female characters and making them as hideous as possible, while when it comes to their male counterpart, they're either untouched, or when it comes to objectification, it's been cranked up a notch. And we're supposed to be completely fine with that? Maybe.
I mean, Mugen said it the absolute best. He's been calling this out. Many of us have been calling this out, and Mugen has been attacked. He's been attacked by so many individuals in his comments on X, calling him a coon, calling him an Uncle Tom, saying, hey, what's that? What's with your white person hair? The way the man's been attacked is vile and disgusting, simply for giving a shit about wanting well-crafted, well-done video games. Now we have answers. Now we have somebody in the industry who does seem like they want to be proud of what they do, actually admitting it. We got my boy Atreus here, says that's right, join the dark side. For clarity, this is just an example to convey the point. We got Kata, this is ridiculous. I mean, what was it? I think there was a one down here. Yeah, right here, we got Art Eater. Dude, a friend of mine, an Asian woman, was just telling me about how this happens to her when she designs Asian women for Western games. They always have her work redesigned by a Western artist to look more stereotypical, then pat themselves on the back for good representations. And Dell responded to this. He responded and said, yes, they also assume adding stereotypical ethno features with a blunt force is some sort of Hail Mary when a range of diversity exists inside diversity. He's 100% correct. I'm getting tired of hearing the word diversity over and over, because once you hear it so much, it starts to sound like pandering. But the dude is 100% correct here. I can't make any. Is this not what we've been saying we want? Is for people to just be, taken seriously as individuals, for these characters to look like individuals, because black people aren't all monoliths or whatever it may be. But then we got Jack here, and I gotta say, I don't like Jack's take. I hate giving Gamergate men fuel. Did you ever stop to think that maybe you were mistaken, or that every single criticism leveled at the game journalism and the industry in general back in 2014 was actually completely valid? Did you ever consider how much you people made it worse? This is not how you win somebody over, guys. Homie clearly never read How to Win Friends and Influence People, because yes, while what you are saying here is truth, I mean, a lot of what Jack says is the truth, you never convince someone to come to your side by going, ha ha, I told you so, you were wrong. Like, no, that's not how you win folks over. If we want to see more individuals like Dell stand up to take a stand against this, and maybe, just maybe, have some sort of common ground, not necessarily be an ally in the fight against the wokeification of video games, but at least, have some sort of common ground, a cause that we can look forward to together, then you would want to just extend the understanding and the things, the nuance, everything to that effect, which is what I think a lot of folks are missing on this. There are so many comments in this thread. There are people being, look, we told you so, calling him out, being rude. That's only going to make him double down or think that maybe the studios are making the right call. And I think that's a massive, massive missed opportunity when we could just be saying, we appreciate you. I know that there's sometimes when we get hot and bothered, we're passionate, just like you. I read these tweets. These tweets are full of passion for the art that you want to provide the world, and you're being torn away from. You're being turned down, that you're not able to do by these higher ups, these development studios, for ridiculous reasons under the guise of diversity, which we all know is absolute bogus, because if anything, it's more racist in general. You're admitting that you admitted in one of those tweets that they add in stereotypical ethno features when not all women or not all characters, of certain skin colors or ethnicities have those. Like, you want to create art. We want to consume the art, but we want to consume the art when we know it has come from a place of actual artistic integrity, which is not what we're getting from these studios. and you were on that same side. You were on this side with us, whether you like it or not. You might not like the words we use. You might not like our methodology, and that's fine. You don't have to. But at the end of the day, this series of tweets are proof that we are on the same side. I think that is worth commending. I think that is worth drawing attention to, and I think it's worth giving Del Walker a little, just a hats off, a little thanks, buddy. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about the video game industry, although that's what it seems like as of late, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, join the discourse and get in touch with over 70 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we truly do care about diversity, but only one kind of diversity of thought. And that sounds up your alley. Join the Discord, subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.